calling all parents and parents-to-be. If you have a toddler, infant, or are just expecting, then this episode is an absolute must-watch. Hello, everyone. My name is Henry Barnathan, licensed mental health counselor, and this is HTML. This week, I've had the pleasure of meeting with Frieda Gindi, a behavioral therapist and parenting coach who specializes in helping and educating parents with the most up-to-date information possible to best help our kids within the community. She has helped hundreds of parents individually and has helped thousands of others through her educational videos on Instagram. In the episode, we go over what it means to really create a secure attachment with your kids, how to best reduce the chances of creating long-term anxiety within them, what attuning to your child really means, and how to diminish the chances of manifesting patterns of ADHD. We go over the importance of creating a routine, a sleep structure, how to best handle technology, and ultimately how to help your children become the best that they could really be. It's a jam-packed episode with lots of useful information that parents really need to know. So sit back, relax. I hope you guys really enjoy and take in what we've worked on here. And thank you for watching.
We're rolling.
Hello, everyone. You are watching HTML. I have with me today a very special guest. Her name is Frieda Gindi. Now, Frieda is a behavioral therapist and parenting coach.
Yes.
And she really specializes not only in helping manage children's behaviors, but in helping parents really come to terms with what it really means to parent, what it really means to help their own kids in a, I guess, more peaceful way, in a less anxious way, and in a more educated way, right? Mm-hmm. So, is there anything that you want to start out with, or would you want me to just
go more in? Oh my gosh, you could start. I don't know. That's my field.
Let's go. All right, yeah. Anything else you want to add to what you do?
No, that's really what I do. Again, I love to teach parents that behaviors can seem so general, but there really is like a function and a background to really what's going on. And it's just important to not just parent generally. I don't like to put down other parenting coaches or other parenting classes, but sometimes you need the extra, You
need the extra education. And you know what? That's why I'm very glad you said that, because why not? Because I feel that we have the tools, and we have so much research to back up different ways of parenting and healthier ways of parenting.
For sure.
And why not use it? It's kind of like we have the medication, we have what we need, and it just feels like such a waste for when just people aren't aware of that.
100%.
And so that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do here. We're really just trying to give over the best information that people can use in their day-to-day so that they could become better parents, better people, and help their families
Anytime,
better.
I start a phone call, I'll say, it's a behavioral science. Everything I do is backed by science. All these strategies, the field is categorized as a science, and it actually is categorized as a science. And I'll say, I don't pull parenting stuff out of my butt. Everything I'm giving you is backed by science and will reduce behavior if used the right way.
Yes.
I don't try and sound overly confident. It's not me. I'm not the genius. I'm giving it over to you. But this is years and years of science and, so much backing that it's guaranteed to work.
I love that.
We all do it right together. It's
guaranteed to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big claim, by the way. But a lot of people.
I know. I don't say it that good. I don't say it.
But I like that.
Say it a little more casual.
That people are looking for that, and people really want the real stuff, and so that's what we're trying to give you here. So we do have lots of topics that we're going to go over for today, and I'm excited. So let's buckle up and let's get started. Yeah.
Let's do it.
The first thing I think we should really go over is secure attachment. And I feel like a lot of parents don't even know what secure attachment means versus insecure attachment. Mm-hmm. And it's so important that parents get this right, because if a child does not end up having if a child does not have a secure attachment towards one or both parents, it ends up becoming much more difficult for that child to feel confident when they're older, to feel self-esteem when they're older, to have better relationships when they're older. And so this really affects them. And so would you want to speak a little bit to that?
So it's funny, I have two different, that's usually where I get my clients from, unfortunately, is parents that didn't realize that it was so important to connect when they were younger and to build that relationship and to really parent them at 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then they call me at 5 and they go, my kid is an absolute mess. And I'm like, okay, like what's been going on the past year? And it's like, oh, like was I supposed to start parenting at 2 or 3? I don't know. I'm not really around. I'm not home. I'm not there when they get home from school. Like I don't really know what goes on. And it's like that's really what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and then it hits and it sucks because we could prevent that. So
Yes,
so this is, I think this is a huge point that we need to tell parents, especially. A lot of the mental health disorders that people have today can be prevented with developing a secure attachment in childhood, specifically between, I would say, the ages of especially 0 to 1, 0 to 2.
Right.
You have to get that
this
right.
This is huge in your field. Like I'm saying, like this is huge.
Yeah. Do you know how many times you have?
Like we fix them after when things go,
and it's so preventable, right? And so parents are so people are probably thinking, wondering, what do you mean by secure attachment? So I guess let's define it first, right? So secure attachment is when a child trusts and believes that if something bad were to happen to them, or if something bad could happen to them, they will be okay, they will be fine, they will be safe. A child needs to have an internalized representation of their parents being there for them when possible catastrophe hits. So it's not about making sure that bad things don't happen to your kids. It's about making sure that even if something anxiety-provoking might happen to your child, that they will be confident enough in dealing with that anyway.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It does.
And so here's what I found, which really helps. So secure attachment is a deep emotional bond that forms between a child and their caregiver, typically in the first year of life, when the caregiver is consistently responsive, emotionally available, and attuned to the child's needs. So it's about consistency, right? Now, do you want to talk to that a little bit?
So it's super important, even just connecting with your kids at a young age. It's tough when, sometimes parents aren't even connecting with their kids until they're like 6 months old when their nurse leaves. And it starts from when they're young. The bond starts from when they're young. And people even look at me and they're like, oh, so you must be like crazy tough. And I'm like, no. Like the trust is built, the foundation is built, like everything is built that now I can parent so much easier.
Yes.
Like people are like, oh my God, like your daughter's so easygoing or your strategies work because she's easy. And I'm like, no offense to anybody, but like I put in the work since she was born. She didn't leave my side since she was, until she went to school at 2.5 years old. So like, I didn't have a nurse. Again, like everyone do your things, like whatever. But I didn't have a nurse. I never left her with a housekeeper. I never did. I was just always there. She cried, I was there. She was this, I was there. I didn't have her like screaming in the crib, crying to put her to sleep. Like I did do a little sleep training at like 6 months old, but like it wasn't like a harsh thing.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so much easier to parent her now.
Yes.
Like it's a breeze.
90% of the problems that your child might possibly face can be alleviated if you
100%.
are really with that kid most of the that infant from when they're born up until minimum 6-12 months. And there's tons of research to back this up. So here I could bring this in, right? So here, a study used a population-based sample found that infants whose mothers stayed on leave through 5 months had significantly lower separation anxiety symptoms through age 6 years later. They had less anxiety compared to those moms who returned to work early, right? And so, but that's difficult sometimes, right? Because some mothers need to work.
100%.
And so if they need to work, then that's going to be difficult. But, well, that's going to be a little sticky, right? And
it's
so,
a little sticky.
Yeah. So how are we going to deal with that?
My take on it is, again, it's a little harsh. Again, I don't judge people because, I have one daughter. I don't know
your situation, right?
I don't know everyone's situation, and I've seen people in very different situations that have to do certain things. So it's just general in my take. Like I do think if a mom needs to work in order to put food on the table or do you think you got to do whatever. But like
you could do the best
you could do the best that you can.
Right.
But women that just work to work and leave their kids to leave their kids, it's
right. And it's kind of, and I hear that. And so, maybe let's have an example, right? So let's say someone's a new mom and they have their infant, but they really enjoyed how they were independent, they enjoyed how they used to work, they enjoyed being out in life. And so it might be very hard on them to and I've noticed this sometimes when people people might be in that situation and maybe use rationalization and say, you know what, like, okay, my kid will probably be fine. You ever, you smile at
Yeah,
that.
that's what it
You ever
is.
get that
Yeah.
rationalization part? Like
It's
trying to find
fine.
quick fixes.
They don't realize anything. My favorite one is, but the nurse loves him just as much as I would.
Right.
I'm like, but your nurse is gonna leave, and then what? You know?
Yeah.
Or they're sleeping most of the time, or they're this,
And the child knows, but the child is alive and knows the difference.
Yeah.
It knows the mother's smell. It knows. Do you know how important the child's touch is to the parent? They say literally, and this is also very important for anyone who's pregnant and expecting, specifically chest to chest contact between the newborn child and the mother is so important. And when there is a barrier, when there's a piece of cloth, that can actually make it harder for parts of the brain to develop.
100%.
It's crazy.
My mom made me do that with my daughter. It's a thing she says. My mom's also a mental health counselor.
Yes.
And she was very, very into that. The second my daughter was born, straight. Don't even cut the umbilical cord, straight on me.
Yeah.
And even like for the first few months, like I would feed her like just on me.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking how to bring this down to earth for some people, because like, so what do we mean by secure attachment? It doesn't mean just being with your kid. It means attuning to your kid, right? Looking at their perspective, right? Because in the child's mind, if they have a broken toy, their whole world is broken. They don't have perspective. That's all they see. That's all they know. And so they need someone to regulate them. Children are born with more of an anxious system, but they're not born with so much of a calming system. We know this. Sure. We know that the parent has to be the calming system for the child and instill that in them. And if they don't,
100%.
then they're going to be nervous their whole life. So if someone's insecure and anxious, and that's a pattern throughout their adult life, sometimes it can go back to them not having such a secure attachment to.
Right.
Yeah, it's really true. And here's another study that's interesting. Here's a study with 3,800 mother-infant dyads. That's really cool. So 3,800 mothers and their infants. And this is what we found. So longer maternity leave, and this was with this study, directly improved the quality of mother-child interactions, which in turn indirectly enhanced attachment security by 24 months. And so we could say it all day. Basically,
right. We know the research is there.
We know the research. We know what's important for people to understand. I think it's so important for parents to understand this. Stay off your phones. Really pay attention to your children. They need it. And if you look away, then they're going to feel rejected and abandoned. And it's not exaggerating. It's so true. Children make meaning out of things. We all do. We're humans. And so they're going to make meaning out of that. They're going to start thinking, why is my parent looking away from me? And all the time, 100% of the time, they always think that it's their fault. Children will think it's their fault if they're not being paid attention to. Right? And so, yeah, it's really important to give your attention to your kid. And not always. We don't want to put the pressure on people. So
I know it's not 24/7, guys. You're okay.
Yeah, I feel like we're pushing. People might get the wrong message that we're pushing too hard. So
we are, because we're personally both very tough on this thing, and like, you know, thank God I took that into parenting. But like, if I say this to people, it's nearly impossible to even grasp how much work that should be put into it versus how much work they actually can be put into.
Yeah, and I hear that.
I mean, it's like crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the space, and I guess to fill that space, there's a term in psychology called the good enough mother, and it's not about being perfect. You have to be good enough, and it's really up until 18 months, I would say, or a year, 18 months around there, and that's where you really have to pay attention to your kids and really hone in on making sure that they feel that they can trust that they will be taken care of in the world. And if they have that, they take that with them through life.
Yeah.
They really do. And it's crazy because 50% of, we know that 50% of children are secure and 50% are insecure. Half.
Right.
Doesn't need to be like that.
That's a crazy amount.
It's crazy, And so, yeah, so I guess anything more on this? I don't know.
I also see a lot of, like I'm saying, like they don't, like you said before, they don't know how to regulate themselves, and they don't have that skill. It's a skill that needs to be built. And I'll have moms tell me, like, why does my 2-year-old not know how to calm themselves down? And I'm like, we literally need to teach them.
Yes.
They're not born with skills.
I love that. Yes.
I always say, like, there's like two things kids are born with. It's like fear of heights and like fear of loud noises. Anything else, like, we need to teach them. We need to teach them how to regulate their emotions. We need to teach them how to, calm their bodies down and things like that. They're not born to it. And especially if moms themselves aren't mirroring it themselves and modeling it, then for sure, how the heck is the kid going to pick up on that?
Let's cover that because I love that.
It's impossible.
So 100%. So there's something called the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Kids are born with the sympathetic nervous system. Long story short, that's the anxiety system. That's the defensive system. The parasympathetic nervous system, the system that regulates, the system that cools down the anxiety, is co-created with the mother. And I think most of the work with parenting is really checking into ourselves, I guess, as parents.
100%.
Right? And so before, I guess a really good tip is before you engage with your child, check in with yourself and work on your parts and work on what's going on inside of you. Are you having an anxious day? And you're allowed to.
100%.
You're going to. You're not going to always be perfectly ready for your child. When they're having a tantrum, when they're having issues, maybe you had a crazy day, you're human too. Yet, I think it's really important to take a minute to really check in with yourself and calm yourself down and find ways to do that.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It's true. We don't know how to calm ourselves down
Right.
often.
Yes.
I had to learn when I was having anxiety, post-college, my therapist had to genuinely give me strategies to calm my body down as a grown adult. And, kids for sure need that, but parents will need that of any age. We all need to calm our bodies down. We all need to, bring ourselves back.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I forgot what else I was going to say.
No, I like that. No, I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
That's really it. Take a minute with yourself and ask yourself, wait, because sometimes it's out of our awareness.
Right.
Also. We're not aware that something is going in with ourselves.
Oh, yeah. So then this is what I'm saying. I always tell parents to, take a minute. And if you're not ready to parent right now, then take it down a notch.
I love that.
Don't say we need to do, the best bath, or they need to get dressed right away, or they need to wear whatever. If you're not in a good place to follow through, and it's just not the day, and it's not the time, and it's not the environment, or whatever it is, don't take this to do this all the time. But you're allowed to take a step back and be a little lax with your parenting. Don't say you need to get dressed. Say, get dressed whenever you're ready and come downstairs. Don't start a battle with your child if you're not even in the zone to fight it.
Taking a minute for yourself is so much better than going in triggered.
For sure.
Parenting your child. And it's very hard for people to give themselves that minute.
Yeah.
Because I think people, especially these days, we just want to do it. We want to get it done.
Right.
We just want to.
We want to speed parent.
Yeah, we want to speed. I love that. So we want to speed parent. We have a child that needs help. Boom, we just got to give him what he needs, and that's it. Let him, because I want to finish up so that I can take care of myself after. But in doing so, you're going to make the experience harder for you and harder for your kid. And what I often tell parents sometimes is, this is really cool. You're not selfish for taking care of yourself. You're selfless.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's how you help your child, by taking care of yourself. You can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself first.
100%.
You're gonna lose it, and there's so many things, and moms have a honestly sometimes they get a bad rap or a hard time because they're juggling so many things.
It's very, very hard.
They're juggling all the
a lot.
time, and I think a lot of mothers would resonate with that.
I agree.
And some mothers might even ask, when's the last time they even had time for themselves? Right, and so. I think taking the time to really actually take a look at your schedule and manage, and some parents might, and some others might think, oh, that's impossible. I have all these kids and I have so many responsibilities to my husband and my job and whatever it might be. But I really think sitting down and discussing what to put on your plate, what to add, what to take away,
For sure.
very important. So take the time, maybe sit with your husband and you literally talk about delineation of responsibilities,
Right.
and how the structure of the family is going to look,
Right.
and how to change things here and there,
100%.
right?
The first thing I'll say is when I come in, I go, give me the schedule. What does the schedule look like?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a schedule. Sometimes they're like, what do you mean? What's the schedule? I'm like, no, just give me I come home from school. What does it look like? They're like, I don't know.
Chaotic.
My first thing is let's just get on a schedule. It's not like this tight schedule, this rigid schedule. It's let's just get on the schedule. Let's break the schedule some days because it's sometimes things need to be broken. But let's just get on a general schedule. So when it comes to bath, my daughter really gets ticked off. So dinner's chilled and okay, this is bath. Let's do it this way. Here's the strategy. Here's where I'm putting it into place. Versus me just throwing out strategies to use and knowing when it's happening or what's going on and they just threw the tantrum. But like, let's put it into the schedule. Let's put not bad behavior. The behavior is going to happen right here. We know it's going to happen. It happens pretty consistently every day. So let's just put it in to the foundation and let's just sort of prepare. Like get them their snacks before, like get what you need to get done before they get home. And then, be ready for their schedule.
And kids love structure. They love structure. They're dying for it. They're begging for it. They love it when you put a routine. At first,
my favorite thing is I have parents. This is my favorite thing. They go, why is my kid an angel at school and a terror when they get home? And they'll say, okay, like, you know what? That means my kid is good. They need to come home to me and I'm their safe person. And I go, for sure. You are their safe person and kids are definitely more likely to, show their worst behaviors to their parents. Fine, I'll give you that. But there is some magic of structure happening in school. And you should be borrowing that structure. You should be taking something that they're doing because they must be doing something right and bring it home. Whether it's, the schedule of the structure, they know their expectations. They know that they are allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. That's why your kids are really different in different places. Even parents will tell me on the play dates, they're amazing, but they get home and they're just like, and I'm like,
what's the difference in environment?
100%.
Right? And so you're saying that structure.
I'm saying, yes, kids definitely love
I'm saying the
structure.
difference between that's what's probably being highlighted when a kid is, I guess, good in school but not really in the house. Okay, that's very smart and I like that. And what's funny, I had a family member who had a newborn, not a newborn, about a toddler, 1.5, something like that. And she went to a bunch of different people on how to help her put her to sleep, and she really wasn't sleeping at night. And I was there for one night, and I just noticed that she was just jumping on the bed at 8:00. And I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "You can't just go from jumping on the bed to just sleep. You can't, there needs to be a wind down." And then all of a sudden, we gave her a task, the toddler, of putting eggs together, like her toy eggs, or putting books together. And all of a sudden, she, like, after 2-3 days, there was a routine of reading a book before bed and having a bath before the books, and having playtime before the bath. And so once kids get those structures down, they memorize it and they know it, and then they expect to sleep, and then they sleep easier.
100%.
So this is great for parents who need help putting their kids to sleep, because
my main specialty is sleep training.
No way.
Yeah. Picking me up.
Your main specialty
one of my main specialties is sleep training. Again, happened by accident. I just went to see a regular client to do sleep training, and I didn't realize. It's too cocky to say how good at it I was, but like how easy it was for me to connect. What the sleep was looking like. Routine was always the first thing. Go, TV before bed. Oh, okay. Let's just try and move that around. I know parents can't. Some parents tell me I cannot take away TV. I need to put it. You want to put it? Put it in the beginning of of the afternoon when they get home. I don't like TV. Minimum an hour and a half to 2 hours before bedtime. And snacks and foods and sugars and how's their body gonna even produce the melatonin they need to sleep?
So. And I like that and I think it was easier for you to see that because you're on the outside.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm working.
Yeah, and so
it's impossible to see these things on the inside.
Yeah, and I think that's also the consequence of, I guess, running on autopilot, because we could run on autopilot as adults, but running on autopilot for our kids,
right? As parents, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and sometimes and so, but I also want to cut parents slack, because I would be curious as to why a parent is running on autopilot, right? Maybe they have, sometimes there's so much stress, and a parent has to recognize that there's so many things going on in their head that they're just going to give their kid the snack or put them on the 100%. TV and then ruin the schedule. And so you understand. So sometimes again, it goes back to
Right.
their ways of thinking.
So I try
taking
and
care.
explain it to them is that
Yeah.
it's short term versus long term happening. So short term, like yeah, you give them that snack, they will stop their tantrum. So like I get it, like when they're stressed and they're trying to short term, and I'm like, I'm trying to long term
Yeah.
help you. So like even when I start and I say, I usually start with like, okay, are you ready to do the work? I'm not saying, oh my God, it's the hardest thing, but some parents
Are you
will
ready
tell me,
to make changes?
yeah, to make changes. Some parents will tell me, you know what, it's not a good time. I've had a mom tell me it's not a good time. I'm gonna call you in 2 months.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, you call me when you're ready because it's not worth it for you. You're wasting your time and money. You're giving your kids this like false structure where it's like we're starting a new thing, but we're not. And it's useless. So I say like when you're ready to put in these strategies, let me know. Also, parents think my main thing, which is so sad, is that parents think that that is normal. They'll tell me, no, all kids don't sleep and stay up till 8:45 and sleep in my bed and co-sleep at the age of 7. Like that's normal, no? Like kids don't sleep. I'm like, no. Like that's not
Yeah.
that's not the normal. It may be the normal in like the few people you've spoken to, but like life can be better. And I think parents don't even realize that their life is here and it can be here. So it's like they're just living, they're like, okay, this is my life right now. It sucks, it's hard. Let me just do what I have to do now and wait for the years to pass.
And I'm noticing that touches you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
I feel bad. I genuinely do when parents, and I've had parents call me hysterical crying after suffering for 2 years of, again, and a lot of it is sleeping, of their toddler just sleeping in their bed all night, every night, waking them up multiple times at night, every single night for 2 years. Like I can't even break, like I can't even imagine. And it takes breaking points for them, to call me and say like, this isn't right? And I'm like, no, like life does not have to be like that. I'm not saying everything is perfect. It's definitely not. There's ups, downs, there's 90 kids gonna, whatever. But like, that's not the baseline. Like,
This is such an important conversation we're having.
yeah.
No, it really is because, and I'm glad we're actually slowing it down. It's better because I think we should take the time to really think about that for a minute. It's preventable, and if we just know that information, or if parents just know like, hey, like it's like literally 30 seconds of information that just to add a little bit of structure will help your kid and reduce symptoms of probably anxiety, because those kids are probably going to be anxious when they get older, and a lot of ADHD.
Everyone.
Yeah, and I guess a reason for that is because they get those things. You said something about short term and long term, and I have a feeling that the more short term reward that children get, the more hyperactive they'll be, right? And you know what's funny? I actually wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know the science behind that. Like some of the things I say are just like, this is what I've seen from my correlations. But
you want to see something cool? So I do have something on ADHD. This is very important. So I don't know if I would have never made this connection, but rough and tumble play actually decreases the chances of ADHD from around 2 to 3, when you can really like wrestle with your kids and throw them around and have fun with them. And they actually did a study with rats, and I'm going to talk about that because it's very important. They found that in rats, rough and tumble play decreases aggression, and if they don't play, the rats showed prefrontal cortex deficits. So prefrontal cortex is like our thinking part of the brain, and it showed that there were deficits in those areas and increases in behaviors that link to ADHD. And so it's also interesting because kids who also don't have rough and tumble play, it's so important, and this actually goes to fathers.
right.
Play with your kids. They need to know what it's like to be in their body. And sometimes when you see kids that are a little awkward and a little shy and that cry often, most of the time what we find is that those kids did not have enough rough and tumble play they never really seeped into their bodies. They were never really, they don't really know, you know, what they're capable of. And so when they're playing, they're pushing off to the boundary of what's appropriate play and what's too much. And they have to test it. And so that's why rough and tumble play is so important. And so I think, again, just for parents to remember this, it's so important to remember that if you want to help your kids decrease the likelihood that they will get ADHD or have ADHD symptoms, play with them a lot from 2 to 3. That'll really help them. So yeah, I wanted to add that point. Anything you want to add to that, or?
No, it's a good point. I never thought of it as like rough and tumble, like whatever play, and like how that affects it. It's actually super interesting.
I know, right?
I love movement always, and like stretching and like doing things like that. Yeah. But I just thought that it like distracts.
Well, they need to seep. They need to seep into their bodies young, so that, you know, later on they're in their body. Like, because if they don't really know where they're at, I feel like they're struggling with that later on in their lives, right? And that's why they're so hyperactive, because they never really had that development. Right. I think it's part of not developing that part within us, developing our, I guess, mind body brain mind body connection, right? And so. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So let's move on to something really. Anything you want to talk about?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's move over to something important.
Yeah, because I hate being so tough. I'm very tough on parents, but parents that come to me, I'm tough on.
They like that, though.
But like, they do, because once they come and they're calling me, they're ready to do it. And like I say it, so like I'm not like super tough. I don't give them a million things to do and but I'm like I'll show them, like, and I show it to them, like I'll prove it to them, like, look, let me show you what this looks like. It happens also with dads. They'll be like, I don't believe you. My husband's never gonna do that. I'm telling you, my husband's not gonna do that. I said, when you show him that this actually works better and it's easier, then he's gonna do it. So it's like, even like just showing them how it goes, you know?
And how would you show that? Like,
So everything I do is in person. Like, I'm going into the house, I'm in the home, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I am in the house, in the home. Not even always one-on-one with the kid, because again, I want to teach them where they're at in their home, because that's where the things are happening.
That's so smart.
Yeah,
you have to see it.
Kids separate are going to do things very differently than kids with their home, with their siblings, with their moms, with their in their kitchen.
I always say that with parenting coaches, that they have to see what's going on in the environment.
That's my niche. That's what you have to do. So that's exactly where I think, God, I don't know that's exactly where I ended up, is that, you know, I had a mom, again, a lot of parents will call me and they'll say, okay, I spoke to this one and I spoke to that one. And I'm like, oh my God, amazing, love them. And they're like, okay, like I tried this, I tried that. Like, it's just not clicking. So I'm like, let me see what's really going on. Yeah. I come in and, you know, not the cookie cutter advice, but like that advice is like great, but like needs to be tweaked based on.
It's personalized.
You know, personalized. It needs to be based on the function. So like, yeah, like most kids, like, you know, you don't show them attention, they stop. But like sometimes they need also, he needs an extra strategy. You might have to go check on him and remind him of his calm down strategies. You might have to go bring his weighted blanket to him. Like, not everything is, nothing to me is cookie cutter.
Well, like, Frieda, I really think that's phenomenal work, honestly. And this also goes out to the parents out there. Don't feel ashamed to get that extra help. Mm-hmm. Because if you really want to help your child, then it's about the kid. We don't matter. Like it's fine. It's not about us. It's not like whatever. If your kid needs the extra help and it's available, then give it to him or her, right?
For sure.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's really cool.
It's cool. And then I always as I've been going on, I really like to couple it with then parenting sessions.
Yes.
Virtually. Like, you don't need me to come in for that, whatever, and just going back to the strategies we used. How have they been going on? Sometimes I have parents, like, I go, give me a little data, like, let's see, because sometimes I say, I'm telling you, my kid's crying all day. I'm like, so let's see if it goes from 10 tantrums to 5 tantrums to 3 tantrums. That's a very big difference. Or if it goes from 20, like, you have to see if there's progress. Some parents will be like, well, I didn't see any progress. And I'm like, he was still hitting. And I was like, well, how much was he hitting? Like, let's see if we're even going down. But I love to recap with parents and, you know, go over the behavior plans, remind them of what they could do.
I like what you said, because also a lot of people might come in, and this is true of any problem, like we have this problem and we don't know what to do with it, and you feel the resistance with that. And I think the first step with any problem is to accept where we're at and work with it. 100%. And so you're saying, okay, there's 10 tantrums. We're working with that. That's where we're at right now. We're not looking to make it 0. We're looking to make it 7 or 5, right? And to make things a little bit better than it was before.
For sure.
And that's the right mindset in order to grow and succeed. Yeah. Because if you have too much of a, I know this, if you have too much of a difficult goal, you're not going to reach it. Yeah. You can't make the goal too difficult. I want my kid to be fixed. Right. No. It's not even like that. Like what does that even mean fixed? Right?
No, because it's never, because it's age appropriate for a lot of these kids too. And that's what I say all the time. That so many of these behaviors that parents will say, and I'm like, listen, they are age appropriate, which is what they're hearing. It's age appropriate for sure. But then there's a line of where if they can't get themselves calmed down, or if they can't, not be hitting out of nowhere or a certain boundary, then that's where we're at the past of where it's not okay. So like all these behaviors will pull up age appropriately. Yes. And if they're not, this is really important to my field of where when I'm trying to pre-teach is that if you engage incorrectly, then that age appropriate behavior just builds into something that's not age appropriate. So let's say, kids that are just switching to a bed, from a crib to a bed, it is super age appropriate for them to resist it and say, I don't want to sleep, or I'm scared, or this is new. That's not the strange part. The part that gets bad is when then parents will start changing their bedtime dynamics and changing, the healthy routine to something not healthy just to accommodate that. So it's like, yeah, they're going to push you, but like you need to know that's age appropriate, but we can't all of a sudden say like, okay, here's an iPad to go to sleep so you could sleep in your bed tonight. Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that because, I'm going to hit on technology after. That's a huge one.
Oh my God.
I know. Yeah, that's interesting. But I did want to bring this up. So there's a lot to talk about with that. But I wanted to ask you about, or talk about parts of children. And so I'll start off with this, and I want to hear your opinion on this kind of stuff. So we know that at age 2 is when children are the most, or not even children, 2 is when human beings are the most aggressive in their lifetime, by the way. That's a fact. You're the most aggressive when you're 2 years old. And it's interesting to me because what we find is that it's kind of like there's so many different parts of a child that comes up. There's the happy part of a child. There's the sad part. There's the hungry part. There's the angry part. And there's all these parts. And I'm going to bring a little IFS into this because it's I think it's really appropriate for this. It's really cool. And what we find is that kids are really just trying to put all of those parts under one unifying structure, and they need their parents to help them do that. And so what I often find is sometimes when I have older clients, they feel that parts of them have been rejected from their family and from society or from their parents or whatever it might be. And I guess how can we help parents who are having difficult time with their children regulate their behavior instead of rejecting the behavior?
For sure.
You hear it?
Yes, I hear it.
Yeah.
I'm still super huge on validation.
Yeah, I love
that. Will never go away. And it's a huge, it's not even a term in my field in behavioral therapy. It's really, a mental health counseling term, but obviously it doesn't matter. Yeah. Is that we can validate so much while setting a boundary. And it's like, it's possible. So and so let's say, a kid comes to you and, Mommy, I want a cookie. Okay, well, we're not having cookies not available. Like, just whatever. And they're screaming and they're crying and da-da-da. And, I'm not like, oh, we need to ignore them. Like, just walk away. Why are you crying? You shouldn't be crying. Da-da. It's so sad. I know you really wanted a cookie. I feel so bad. I really wish the cookie was available. I know that you're sad. I see that you're sad. Is there something I can do for you? Can we, either redirect, or is there something that is available to eat? Maybe fruit is available. I'm with you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that the cookie I'm so sorry you have to sit in your car seat. Like, I know it's so annoying. It's annoying that we have to leave the beach. It really is. And like, again, I'm setting the boundary, but I'm genuinely there. I feel bad that she's crying. I'm with her.
Yes.
I'm with you where you are. I'm accepting that it's sad to leave things, to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah. And the consequence of that is that the child feels felt. They feel like they're felt, and they feel like they've been witnessed. And sometimes a lot of people might not know this, but that in itself is repairing and healing and more than enough.
It's huge.
It's not about the cookie. It's even if you didn't get the cookie,
right?
They can still feel okay with their negative emotion.
Your reaction's better than the cookie.
Right.
They learn.
Say that line again. That's a great line.
It's true.
Your reaction
is better than the cookie.
I love it. Yeah.
That connection you made with them feeling heard. Even you don't realize that subconsciously, you going there, you connect more with your kid. So you end up feeling their sadness, and you're least likely to get angry about the fact that they're in this place. And again, everything's easier said than done and things like that. But like, just meeting them where they are is going to help you, them, the situation, the behavior. Like
it's helping everything. And specifically, you're also training the child on and teaching them on how to respond to when they don't get what they want and when things get difficult in life. And so the next time things don't go so well, they'll say, okay, I am sad.
I'm allowed to be sad.
But I know how to handle the sadness.
Right.
And that's a tool that they need.
100%.
And so I also want to bring it over here because sometimes, like sometimes you have kids who are either crying or having a difficult time, maybe even a tantrum. And our first instinct is to push that away. And I'm not saying anyone's bad for having that first instinct. I think that it's very good to be aware of that part of us that wants to push it away.
Right.
And to acknowledge that there's a part of us that wants to push it away and to make a decision, okay, I'm not really going to engage in that part. You're going to have that part come up as a parent. You're going to have 100%. That part all the time. You're going to get whatever hatch. You're going to get like, I'm done with this. I don't want to deal with this. Let me just try to shut whatever feeling down. And that you're not going to say that out loud, but really that's what's going through your head. And so I think this is what I really want to say is acknowledging that part of you and allowing yourself to have that part. Don't be upset that you have that part. A lot of parents feel like, like I shouldn't even be thinking about, shutting down my kid or shutting down my child when they feel like that.
Parents
We're normal.
It's very normal.
Yes, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and that's okay. So yeah, there are some times where you're going to be annoyed with your damn kid, and that's okay. Yeah. And so, you're going to be annoyed at that little creature, and then you're going to notice that and say, okay, let me take a minute. Now let me be there for my child. But first you have to be there for yourself.
100%.
Then be there for your kid. Yeah. And then what do? Instead of pushing away, don't cry. This is stupid to cry about. Say, oh, you're really sad.
Yeah, my worst thing. Why are you crying?
Yep.
You know why they're crying. You just told them they can't have a cookie. Or they don't know why. Like the why are you crying thing. I love you guys. I'll give you one thing that if you would let me say, please stop asking why they're crying. If they got hurt and you don't know why, okay, but why do you think they're crying? You just told them we have to leave. You just told them they can't have a cookie. You just told them it's bedtime. Their cousin just left. Like, you know why they're crying.
Yeah, and I think that comes from a place of wanting to fix and wanting to solve.
Yeah.
We don't have to solve anything.
You don't have to solve everything.
You could just let them be sad.
Yeah, just be.
Just be.
Yeah.
Be that container for your child to be sad, angry, snotty, whatever it is. Let all of that be there. You can hold it for them.
100%. And I also love, which is what I throw in any strategies is like, there's places, like even I give parents to give their kids physical places to be in those places. Like, do you need to cry right now? Like, you want to go to your room? Like, go cry. And then like, when you need me, like, come on out and get me. Because like sometimes parents tell me like, I cannot hear it. And I'm like, you know what? Be there, validate, and then say, I need to go to the kitchen. I have things to do. If you need me, you come get me.
Yeah.
So like they're allowed to feel their emotions. You want to be angry? Go be angry.
And I'll add a caveat, as long as they don't feel rejected, right? As long
For
as
sure.
Yeah.
With the validation.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes.
We start with the validation, and again, if we have an attention-seeking tantrum, I don't need you sitting there and, putting more fuel to the fire. I want you to give them their validation. I love you. I'm here for you. I know it's so sad.
Yeah. Do you want to take a minute? It's okay if you need.
You could take a minute. I can offer you a hug. Like, offer things that you can do. I can give you a hug. I can just sit here. I can just listen. I'll have a great book you would love. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
I can just, I can be whatever you need me to be. And then, there does get to a point where, the tantrums may have started because they didn't have access to something, but then they're maintained by attention.
Right.
So there's a certain point where we do need to, like, pause the conversation and remove. I don't punish. No one's getting punished, but I'll just say, like, I'm going to go sit here. When you're ready, you come to me. I'm going to go to my room. I'm going to do this. I'm going to even stand on that side. When you're ready, if you just come find me.
And it's okay.
I am here.
Yes.
Like, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
The presence is still there.
Yeah.
And I guess to put it all in a nutshell, there is space for all your parts. There, and good and bad. I don't even think there's no bad parts. There's no such thing as bad parts of a child. All of their parts are welcome. And in order to have your child feel, because you're going to want to have your child feel that all their parts are welcome. And in order to have them feel that, you need to believe that your parts are welcome. And so I find this, I've had clients like this. This is very interesting where sometimes you have a parent who pushed out parts of themselves, like certain weaknesses, right? And then they don't want their kids to have those same weaknesses and they push them out too. Right? And the child is like, I can't be like this because I learned that I'm not allowed to be like this. And maybe their parent pushed out those weaknesses for a reason. And what do we mean by weakness? It could mean anything, right? And so, when people get very nervous, self-conscious in their head, as a parent, you might actually bring that down to your child. And so for you to not want to, I guess, transmit that, a very important thing to do is for us to do the work.
For sure.
Right? For us to look at ourselves and say, wait, like, am I just pushing this down because I had something in my past and I need to work on?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a humbling experience,
True.
Yeah. It's very true.
Everything comes from the parents. And you see again, like with what they've pushed away and, what's now trickling down to their children, but even, anxious tendencies, I'll see the parents will be like, yeah, well, I'm very anxious.
Yeah.
I wonder where she got it from.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they get it from.
And I want to tell parents this, if and this is so important for parents to know, if you guys ever felt, so if you're listening to this and you feel, okay, I'm such a horrible parent, oh my God, I'm messing up so bad, because a lot of parents feel like that. Yeah. You're not. You're human, and not only that, kids are very resilient. You can make a change today, now, and even
100%.
if you feel okay, my kid is all over the place, and it's like it's never too late.
Right.
And there are ways. There's so many things out there that to help yourself and your child. And so please don't give up on yourself or your kid. Don't feel hopeless, so to speak. What we're trying to do here is educate people. We're trying to let people know the psychology behind what goes on with the psychology behind parenting and how to help your kids in the best way possible. But if you do have kids that are having difficulty now, it doesn't mean that it's all over. Right. So I really wanted to add that. Anything?
It's true. I'm saying I've worked with kids of all ages. It's not just like, we're not just working on the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds to try and get them to be, I'm working with 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. I've worked with high school students. There is no end to saying, I'm done. I messed up. My kid's screwed.
Yeah, never.
Never.
We've seen miracles. We've seen, there's countless stories of children going through the worst of things in life, coming out on top. Yeah. We are very resilient as human beings, and we need to remember that. True. So that's a very hopeful message, and it's good we brought that up. So anything on tantrum? I feel like we covered tantrums pretty much, I feel like
we did tantrums.
Yeah. Like give them space, let the part be there. Right. But let's say it's in public. Right. And I have a lot of people who get embarrassed from their kids. Of public. Yeah.
So my thoughts for public is, again, I want to try and help you as best at home and prevent so many things. Yeah. All strategies I give, they come in 2 parts. It's preventative strategies and then reactive. I try and give so many preventative strategies to try and eliminate or reduce the behavior before we even get there. Right. So whether that's a schedule, letting them know the expectation, what's this place going to look like? We have to wait for our food at a restaurant. It's very annoying. Sometimes we have to sit, letting them know what that looks like. That's a beginning part. And then I have part 2 of like what we do if and when the behavior does come. But, I'll tell parents if, we have to be realistic. If you're at a place and things are happening, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But let's work and try and get these handled at home, and they will follow through.
You want to get to
elsewhere.
the source. You want to get to the source of the behavior.
100%.
It's very true. And so that you won't have to work as hard. And it's funny because and the more work that we put in for the long term, the less work you're going to have to put in later
100%.
on. It's so exhausting when you give these short things. Oh, here's the iPad, here's this, just be quiet, I don't want to hear it. You're going to make it so much harder for you, like probably 10, 20 years down the line with that kid, because
it's true.
It's very true.
It's very true.
That's what ends up happening to that kid, because a child is forming their perception of the world based on their childhood, based on what they see very early on. And so if you make it, let's say you keep on giving constant. So let's go into technology. Constant. Here we go. Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. Yeah. So let's say you give constant gratification to a child from very early on, and they grow up with that. They're going to expect that and want that throughout life, and it's going to be harder for them to bring out that other part that wasn't developed, which might be a more meaningful part, a more patient part. And so that kid is going to have more difficulty when they didn't need to, all because maybe we were a little impatient. Maybe we just wanted to just give something over. Yeah. And so maybe in the short term it'll help you, but in the long term it creates. So let's talk about technology. Yeah. So
it's my worst.
Go for it. What's your thoughts?
Oh God, I have so many thoughts.
Let's go.
Which are tough. This is one thing I'm pretty tough on.
Talk
when
to
I
me.
give advice, like when I'll give either friends advice or parenting advice or whatever, is I hate TV.
Hate what?
TV,
yes.
iPads, anything. From the age of, I even want to say 0 to 2, there is zero positivity that a child gets. Every minute of their life is a learning opportunity for them, and it's much better that they're learning it through their parents, through the environment, through real things than TV. So even parents will say like, okay, like these Miss Rachels and these cute things, and I'm like, between the ages of 0 and 2, they would be learning much more playing with you than from Miss Rachel.
Playing with pots and pans.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. So that's my like young age, like TV, iPad thing. Like it literally does nothing. And this is when their brain should need to be doing something. So it's super negative.
So it impedes brain development.
100%.
It impedes brain development when kids are, let's say, too into the technology from early on. And I also feel like it increases so much stimulation. Oh my gosh, for sure. Because I don't know if anyone notices these days, but so I have another family member.
The studies on the cocomelon these days are insane.
Yeah, guys, look up cocomelon studies. You'll see what's going on in the child's brain.
I feel like everyone knows at this point. I don't know. Is it bad to mothers?
No, I don't think
they do. I don't know.
Explain it.
I don't know if I thought. I mean, I don't think mothers don't put it on anymore, but the research behind it is that every 10 seconds or 5 seconds or something, there's a scene switch and the colors zap and every single color changes. And it's made to attach the kid so much.
Addiction
is genuinely, there was research based on addiction that they can't even look away. And when you turn it off, it's like taking away like their oxygen, because they were so attached, focused on it.
So parents need to know this, that for a child, I feel like they sense more, they feel more than adults. And so when you're watching Cocomelon as an adult, or you're not really seeing anything, but for a child who literally the whole world is brand new to them, they're seeing these stimulated colors. They're seeing these flashes of light constantly. And if they keep watching that, they're going to get addicted to it, and they're going to expect it. And that's what's probably happening. And again, I'm going to probably do a teens episode, but that's also happening within a lot of teens.
100%.
And everyone's talking about the effects of technology on our youth. And you do not want to introduce that too much to your children. Here's what I have found. I have a family member who shows very old shows, like if they're going to do it here and there with balance,
100%.
Because sometimes, like, and she's actually really good with her kid, but sometimes whatever they need it. So like maybe like 20 minutes, half hour, but what they'll put is like Max and Ruby, or like something like I don't know, like dinosaur.
The shows,
less stimulation.
Yes, the shows these days are insane.
The people making these shows
Yes.
are
doing it to get the kids attached.
yeah, they're doing it on purpose. Yeah, and
It's for sure.
Yeah,
It's so in the research that it's basically like they're admitting it. Like they're not even. It's not.
yeah, they're not hiding it.
It's not denied. It's not. It's totally there. There's like a few shows that like I'll even let my daughter put on when I cut her nails one time.
Oh, the
For
parenting
5
coach
minutes,
is
guys.
cheating over here.
5 minutes a week. Like a Daniel Tiger, something just very neutral, calm.
Yes.
Also a little religiously, politically, the new shows these days are a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
They sneak in some, gender things. They sneak in some things I don't want to whatever, but they throw in these things. There's a show that, the main character has 2 dads.
Yeah. Yeah, people are pushing their
It's a little confusing.
No, they're pushing their politics into shows.
They are.
And
They really are.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. So the point of a show is for a child to understand the world better, because through stories we actually make sense of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why kids are actually addicted, and children and people in general are addicted to movies and plays and drama. There's a reason. It's a little bit off of it on a tangent, but we're addicted to stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so kids want to make sense of the world through story, and that's why they watch these things. And be careful with what you put into your child.
100%.
Not just food, content as well.
100%.
And yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
realistically, I know what we have to do as parents. Again, I say, when I try and come in, I say, I have one daughter, and I don't know what I'm going to have to do with 4 kids. I don't know. But when I do go in, and the mom will say, TV time is going to be in the thing. I'm like, okay, let it be in the TV, in the living room, where you can hear what's going on. They're not in their room huddled by an iPad and nobody really knows what's going on there. They're watching a show that's, approved by you, and they're by you, and watching it sort of together.
Yes.
Then, having an iPad in their face, in their eyes, very close.
It's not so black and white.
Yeah. There's so much. There's wiggle room. There's gray area. It's not yes or no TV. These days, it's just not a thing. For I would say 3 to, and up, where we're saying it's okay to be introduced. And like, there are times that, a mom might want to bathe another kid, and there is no black and white. What's better? Should I leave them with the housekeeper? Should I do this? You do what you're doing. Try and monitor what they're watching. And you don't want to talk about YouTube.
Why?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know, honestly.
So, okay, again, there's very different. TV is not so general. There's a TV in a living room where a mom puts on a show and is in the kitchen, versus a kid on an iPad in their room with full access to a Netflix,
forget about
a Hulu, a YouTube, even monitored ones, or let's say even not monitored ones. The things that they can watch and have access to is scary.
This comes back to the autopilot issue, and you're making a very good point. And I feel that some of us are lax, and some of us just trust that what's out there is fine, but we can't trust the world.
You cannot trust the world.
We can't trust literally, the parent is the shield between the world and the child. That you're it. That's who you're the last line of defense. And so whatever is coming back and forth through the child is you, and not just in toddlerhood, but for when they're teenagers and when they're even adults sometimes. And at some point, kids have to transition into their own adults and be their own barriers, but not their own barriers, but learn how to make barriers on their own. But when someone's a child, when they're a kid, how do you expect them to be there to make their own barrier? It's like you can't give that job to them. It's impossible.
And they retain information like sponges. These little kids.
Literally, they're made to learn.
I've seen kids and they're repeating these shows that they're watching.
Yeah,
not appropriate, bad words, not good things. And they're coming. Oh, but this is what they do in the show. Oh, this is what they do. This is what this guy does. I don't even know.
They imitate and they model.
Characters imitate, model. They retain it. They feel, a character's anger. They feel a character's rebelliousness. They embody it.
Yes.
And it's not just like a screen that doesn't impact them and is just gonna short term keep them busy. That stuff gets embedded.
There's repercussions. Yes,
there is.
Children absorb.
They
absorb
really
everything.
absorb. Like,
they absorb
and
everything.
they'll say, "Oh, well, my kid's fine now," and okay, they're watching it. That's gonna really seep into their brains.
Yeah.
And you want to say you didn't see it come out yet? No problem. But that's gonna come out. You're basically telling me that show took part in raising your child.
Yeah.
That random
I like that
thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out somewhere.
Because whatever you're putting in is what's becoming a part of the kid.
100%.
It's becoming part of
especially this young.
Yes.
Between 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. I really recommend not giving a child an iPad. Like, really.
I've had a lot of moms like start to just take them and
throw them out.
Throw them out.
You can't.
You want to do TV? Let's talk TV. Let's balance your TV.
Right.
No problem.
And also.
Or
again,
iPads with games.
Right.
No,
Yeah, I'm sure there's what I mean by iPad is.
Yeah, there's
There's a spectrum. Yeah. Good for thanks for clarifying. And something else that I also wanted to add is that if you want to give your kid an iPad, also you have to ask yourself why. And this goes back to let's say you're a mom who is fortunate enough to stay home with their kid, but you don't want to, or maybe there's a part of you that is really having a hard time with that. Maybe explore that. Maybe
for sure.
Like be curious about why you want to like be curious about what's pushing you outwards, right? So that you don't just shove down, because I'm telling you there is a guilty part down there, and a lot of people shove that down and they say, "Oh, I'm not guilty. I know I'm doing right," but really there might be some guilt over there.
Right.
And ask yourself, wait, why am I?
Right.
And again, you're not a bad person for having those feelings. I think it's very important to explore them.
For sure.
And to have a conversation about these things.
Parents are also just having children to have children.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying thank God, have children, but why did you have the kid? Did you have it so someone else could raise it, or because it's a thing in our community to have children?
You got to be appreciative. You got to be appreciative to have it.
And thank God, unfortunately, after my daughter, I had 2 pregnancy losses, and now, Bezrat Hashem, for my next kid, it's going to be oh my God, I'm not letting you go. But people will have children, thank God, so easily, and then just take it for granted. Why are you even, we have kids because that's what we have kids. Americans don't have kids until they're I really want a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, American parenting is whatever. But we just have our kids and throw them to wherever, and they go from nurse to housekeeper to playgroup to school to camp to pre-camp to post-camp, because the kid can't be home from camp for 3. So what did you want to do? You just wanted to have kids, cook dinner, and go to sleep?
Be appreciative for your kids, because some people can't even are struggling to have them. And not only that, there's a point in time where they're going to grow older and you're not going to have that opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Oh my
to have
gosh,
children.
beautiful.
It's and you're not going to get that opportunity again. They once they're past 4, they're not toddlers anymore.
They're not. They're getting big.
And it's that one opportunity in your life where you're going to have a relationship with someone who loves you unconditionally. Your child loves you unconditionally. Right. And so it's such a beautiful thing to have, and that appreciation really spills over into your parenting. So we spoke about that. We spoke about the different, places in the mind of parts, and having to, be with your child's parts, make space for them, and to have space for your own parts. It's more healing. And I also want to add this, that the more happy we try to make our children when they're sad, the more sad they'll be. The more that you're able to accept their sadness, the more happy they'll be. Yeah. It's okay for your children to feel sad.
For sure. Oh my God, I think I have a quote, but let me see if I can
pull it up. Yeah.
I don't know if I can find it.
Yeah, go for it. And I'll keep riffing off this. So allow your children to have those emotions. Allow them to feel that they can have the space to have those emotions. And the more that they feel like they have the space to have them, the faster they'll actually be able to process them and move on from them. And I guess the more that I think this is one of the most important points of this podcast, is that we
found something.
We need to make space for children's parts, and we need to be accepting of them being sad and to know that's okay.
Right.
And once they know it's okay and we know it's okay, then they'll be. What's the quote that you wanted to?
I don't know what exactly, but I'm saying like I don't even know who said this, but like don't teach your children never to be angry. Teach them how the right way to be angry.
Great.
Because kids are gonna get angry. Sorry, adults are gonna get angry, are gonna get sad. Those emotions, we are never trying to close those. We're not trying to shut those out. We want to teach them how to have those in an appropriate way, which changes as they age. Starts from crying to then, going to their room or whatever it ends up being, teaching them how to have those feelings and how to have them, the right way.
I've taught this past year, I've taught like a class of like 30 first graders, like here and there. Like I did like this little interesting class, like whatever. It was like, I don't know, once or twice, like once every 2 weeks. And I also taught like some 8th grade kids, and they were shocked to hear, most of them were shocked to hear that it's okay to be angry. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yeah, angry is a normal emotion. What do you mean? I get angry. We all get angry. Your parents get angry. You're saying, no, it's bad to be angry. We're not allowed to be angry. I had some kids tell me that they're not allowed to cry. Yeah. Like a first grader told me that.
That's like the dads, shout out to the dads. It's usually the dads that are like, no crying. Boys don't cry. You're not allowed to cry.
Yeah.
Like that stigma. No,
it's very true. And I understand them because they're trying to make their kids tough. And the best way to make your kid tough is to really, in my opinion, honestly, is to help them make space for those emotions in the first place. And once they'll feel confident, like I'm allowed to feel like what I need to feel, and then they can go out into the world, right? Instead of just shoving things down. And when they shove and then all of a sudden when something triggers them, and they get upset, then they get insecure, then they get unconfident. They're like, oh my God, I'm not allowed to be feeling this, and that's when they're less tough. So if you want your kid to be tough, allow them to be untough. Allow them to be a mess and make space.
The shortcuts aren't gonna get you there.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to add. I've done a lot of studies on this, and I do a lot of work with teens. I've noticed that this is so important. The opposite sex parent of a child is huge. The relationship between the relationship between a father and their daughter, and the relationship between a mother and their son, is particularly important, especially in terms of romantic relationships when they get older. Because for a girl, their first experience of a man is their father, and for a boy, the first experience of a girl is their mother. And so, really pay attention to how you parent your kids. Pay attention to how you parent the kids that are the opposite gender of you, right? And because your relationship with them really is a template for how they're going to relate to their relationships when they get older. Yeah. So true. It's fundamental. Yeah. And so, yeah. Anything else? I think we've covered a lot.
I feel like we covered.
I'm really happy that you came on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was very fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun.
Yeah, and hopefully we really help people. That's the goal of this, to give over information.
That's cool. Yeah. To give over information, let the community, moms, parents know they're not alone, and life doesn't always have to be here.
Yeah. And I want to add that too, because even though we did give a lot of tips, I want parents to know that it's okay for again, things to be chaotic. We're all learning. No one's perfect. Yeah. We're just trying to give you the best information possible.
My funniest thing is that I just had to make a post on Instagram because
I saw that.
Everyone's like, you're the perfect mommy. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Go look that up, guys. That was a
I'm not the perfect mommy. Like, I'm not. Like, all those things happen. It's the same thing.
It was so funny.
It's
funny.
Life.
I watched it right before you came because my sister told me about it. She's like, Henry, it's the funniest video.
Like, to be like, oh, you're probably the most perfect mom. And I'm like, now I have to make a video to show you that I'm genuinely not. Like, whatever.
The perfect is accepting the imperfect. I know it sounds so cheesy, but perfect is accepting how imperfect you are, and accepting how imperfect your kid is.
For sure.
That's. I think that's a good way to end it. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh my God.